Hey everybody, welcome back to Winnitta Inspirations. Ready for a Bible trivia challenge? We've got 50 questions for you today, ranging from easy to hard. Let's dive in. We're thrilled to have you join us for this exciting journey through the Bible. Whether you're a trivia master or just here for fun, there's something for everyone. So grab your pens, gather your friends, and let's see how well you know your Bible facts. Remember, it's not just about winning, but also about learning and having a great time together. Let's get started. Who built the ark? A. Abraham, B. Noah, C. Moses, or D. David? Think about it. And let's move on to question 2. Who led the Israelites out of Egypt? A. Joshua, B. Moses, C. Aaron, or D. Joseph? You've got this. On to question 3. Who was swallowed by a great fish? A. Jonah, B. Daniel, C. Elijah, or D. Elisha? On to question 4. Who was the first man created by God? A. Adam, B. Noah, C. Abraham, or D. Isaac? Keep those answers coming. Time for a question about a very important woman. This woman has been revered for centuries and holds a special place in the hearts of many. Her story is one of faith, courage, and divine purpose. Who was the mother of Jesus? This woman is often depicted in art and literature, and her role is central to the Christian faith. A. Elizabeth, B. Mary. This question might seem easy, but it's important to remember the significance of each name mentioned. C. Martha, or D. Ruth. Think carefully. Each of these women has a unique story in the Bible, but only one was chosen to be the mother of Jesus. Take a moment to reflect on your answer. Check. Who was thrown into the lion's den? A. David, B. Daniel, C. Samson, or D. Solomon? Feeling brave? Who was the strongest man in the Bible? A. David, B. Samson, C. Goliath, or D. Saul? Did you know the answer right away? Who was the wisest king of Israel? A. Saul, B. David, C. Solomon, or D. Rehoboam? Deep thinking required. Who was the first woman created by God? A. Sarah, B. Eve, C. Rachel, or D. Leah? No peeking at your neighbor's answers. This next question is about lineage. Who was the father of many nations? A. Isaac, B. Jacob, C. Abraham, or D. Joseph? Family ties. Who was the brother of Moses? A. Aaron, B. Joshua, C. Caleb, or D. Esau? Time to celebrate a courageous woman. Who was the queen who saved her people? A. Esther, B. Ruth, C. Deborah, or D. Bathsheba? Who was the disciple who betrayed Jesus? A. Peter, B. John, C. Judas, or D. Thomas? The answer might surprise you. Who was the first martyr in the New Testament? A. Stephen, B. James, C. Paul, or D. Peter? Who was the prophet who confronted King Ahab? A. Elijah, B. Elisha, C. Isaiah, or D. Jeremiah? Who was the king who built the temple in Jerusalem? A. David, B. Solomon, C. Hezekiah, or D. Josiah? Who was the prophet swallowed by a great fish? A. Jonah, B. Daniel, C. Elijah, or D. Elisha? Who was the king who had a dream about a statue? A. Nebuchadnezzar, B. Darius, C. Cyrus, or D. Xerxes? Who was the judge who defeated the Midianites with 300 men? A. Gideon, B. Samson, C. Deborah, or D. Jephthah? Who was the prophet who anointed David as king? A. Samuel, B. Nathan, C. Elijah, or D. Elisha? Who was the first king of Israel? A. David, B. Saul, C. Solomon, or D. Samuel? Who was the prophet who confronted King David about his sin? A. Nathan, B. Samuel, C. Elijah, or D. Elisha? Who was the king who asked for wisdom? A. Saul, B. David, C. Solomon, or D. Rehoboam? Who was the prophet who called down fire from heaven? A. Elijah, B. Elisha, C. Isaiah, or D. Jeremiah? Who was the first king of Israel? A. David, B. Saul, C. Solomon, or D. Samuel? Who was the prophet who interpreted dreams for Nebuchadnezzar? A. Daniel, B. Joseph, C. Isaiah, or D. Jeremiah? Who was the king who built the walls of Jerusalem? A. David, B. Solomon, C. Nehemiah, or D. Hezekiah? Who was the prophet who was taken up to heaven in a whirlwind? A. Elijah, B. Elisha, C. Isaiah, or D. Jeremiah? Who was the king who had a feast using the temple vessels? A. Belshazzar, B. Nebuchadnezzar, C. Darius, or D. Cyrus? Treat holy objects with care. Who was the prophet who saw a vision of dry bones? A. Ezekiel, B. Daniel, C. Isaiah, or D. Jeremiah? A story of hope and resurrection. Who was the king who had a dream about a tree? A. Nebuchadnezzar, B. Darius, C. Cyrus, or D. Xerxes? Who was the prophet who was thrown into a cistern? A. Jeremiah, B. Isaiah, C. Ezekiel, or D. Daniel? Talk about a difficult situation. Who was the king who had a dream about a statue? A. Nebuchadnezzar, B. Darius, C. Cyrus, or D. Xerxes? Who was the prophet who confronted King Ahab? A. Elijah, B. Elisha, C. Isaiah, or D. Jeremiah? Who was the king who had a dream about a tree? A. Nebuchadnezzar, B. Darius, C. Cyrus, or D. Xerxes? Who was the prophet who saw a vision of dry bones? A. Ezekiel, B. Daniel, C. Isaiah, or D. Jeremiah? Who was the king who had a feast using the temple vessels? A. Belshazzar, B. Nebuchadnezzar, C. Darius, or D. Cyrus? Who was the prophet who was taken up to heaven in a whirlwind? A. Elijah, B. Elisha, C. Isaiah, or D. Jeremiah? Who was the king who built the walls of Jerusalem? A. David, B. Solomon, C. Nehemiah, or D. Hezekiah? Who was the prophet who interpreted dreams for Nebuchadnezzar? A. Daniel, B. Joseph, C. Isaiah, or D. Jeremiah? Who was the high priest that accused Jesus? A. Annas, B. Caiaphas, C. Pilate, or D. Herod? Who was the disciple who denied Jesus 3 times? A. Peter, B. John, C. Judas, or D. Thomas? This story teaches us about forgiveness. Who was the first Christian martyr? A. Stephen, B. James, C. Paul, or D. Peter? His sacrifice spread the message of Christianity. Who was the apostle who wrote the book of Revelation? A. John, B. Paul, C. Peter, or D. James? It's a powerful book. Who was the Roman governor who sentenced Jesus to death? A. Pilate, B. Herod, C. Caiaphas, or D. Annas? A pivotal moment in history. Who was the disciple who doubted Jesus' resurrection? A. Thomas, B. Peter, C. John, or D. Judas? His story teaches us about faith. Who was the apostle who was a tax collector? A. Matthew, B. John, C. Peter, or D. James? Who was the apostle who was a tent maker? A. Paul, B. Peter, C. John, or D. James? Who was the apostle who was a fisherman? A. Peter, B. John, C. James, or D. All of the above? Who was the apostle who was a physician? A. Luke, B. John, C. Peter, or D. James? That's it. 50 Bible trivia questions. We hope you had a great time testing your knowledge and learning new things about the Bible. It's always fun to challenge ourselves and see how much we know. How many did you get right? Did you surprise yourself with how much you knew, or did you learn something new today? Either way, it's all about having fun and growing in our understanding. Comment your score below, and don't forget to subscribe to Winnitta Inspirations for more Bible fun. We love hearing from you and seeing how well you did. Until next time, keep studying and enjoying the wonderful stories and lessons from the Bible.